So Miskiff interviewed the CEO of Twitch. And I gotta say, the guy's a great CEO, but he is a master of deflecting questions. Miskiff had some really good questions, and I was disappointed in a lot of the answers. But that being said, he did mention some cool features that are going to be coming out hopefully in the near future. And overall, Twitch, I think it's going in the right direction from some of the things that this guy said. Here's an example of a perfectly politically correct answer when Miskiff asks if streaming is harder than a real job.
Is streaming a hard job? You know, there's recently been a lot of attention on that. I think there are lots of hard things about streaming, just like any job. Now, it doesn't mean that it's harder than being a coal miner. That's just silly. Okay. But this idea that it is just fun all the time, right? And you're not like, oh, okay, I got to stream, because you're putting yourself out there, you know, being in front of a camera for 8 hours a day and exposing yourself.
Yep.
You end up, and it can be very emotional. I mean, I even just after doing it once a week for 4 hours.
But he gave the perfect politically correct response. He didn't hurt his streamers. He said that it's emotionally draining, which I don't think anybody would argue. And he also said there's harder jobs. So I think he did his CEO job there. And he does this a few more times. Another example of an interesting question that ended up getting a boring political response was when Miskiff asked that if he had one choice to appoint somebody to be the Twitch CEO, who does he think would do the best job? To which he said this.
Think on it.
I'm sure there are a number of them, but I don't know which one jumps out, because I really need to know more than what they're doing as a streamer, right? I need to know what they're doing, you know, in terms of running things, and I don't see that, right? I can't see if I'll use an example of not someone that I'm thinking would be good. It's just an example, right? Ludwig does a bunch of different things, right? I don't know how much Ludwig is actually like doing the shit he does, or he's hiring people to do his shit that he does. And
well, isn't that part of being a CEO himself, is just hiring people to make sure they do the right job?
Yeah, but you need to be able to be on top of it and not just be like the, you know, the face of something. So I really have very little, I actually have no insight into, with different streamers in terms of as they branch out and do other things, how often they are the face of it that then gets someone else, you know, let's take you, right? You know,
Personally, I would choose XQC because he's literally works 17, 18-hour days, doesn't sleep. I think those are good qualities for a CEO. Yeah, he does stuff like this, but there's no denying the guy works hard. And I'm sure if you put him at the head of Twitch, he would make good changes. And he does know the streaming landscape very well. So Miskiff asks a great question, and I really want to know the answer to this question, but of course, political answer. You know, it's the same thing as asking this guy who his favorite child is. Like, he's never going to answer that question, and it's unfortunate. I wish people would give CEOs more freedom to kind of speak their mind. And I think an example of this going completely wrong and why CEOs are very conservative is when Elon Musk smoked weed on the Joe Rogan Experience. That is such not a big deal at all whatsoever. And people made the biggest deal ever out of it. And I think stuff like that is going to make a CEO think twice on being themselves or giving possible answers that won't be the most politically correct thing in the world. I really just want to see a humanized actual interview with the CEO where they're just unhinged completely themselves. And it's disappointing that's never the case. But any good CEO is good at two things. One, deflecting questions, and two, making their company look good. And I think he did a good job here when he showed what Twitch Mobile is up to, the future of Twitch Mobile, where he shows a demo, and it looks very similar to TikTok. And hey, if TikTok gets banned, you might see some people flocking over to Twitch and potentially stretching out their attention spans a bit and maybe becoming Twitch watchers. But here he shows the demo, and I think it's very interesting.
Okay, so this is the live feed where you can just swipe. Okay, so here we are on Clips feed. We've got mine right there, actually. We got T-Pain here. Oh, what is T-Pain doing on that one? Okay. We got Hassan, right? So that way it's very easy if you just peruse. Yeah. That way it's very easy if you just want to peruse clips. Okay? And then you can get back to live content right away. Oh.
So the idea is to both have a lives tab and a shorts, like a clips tab. So you could go back and forth in between both. And he eventually leads into a feature that he's thinking about implementing where it's almost like a I'm at my best button that Twitch streamers can push. And it shows a window of when they're going to be trying the hardest during their stream, and then they're more likely to be promoted during that time to give them the best chance of showcasing their best selves to the audience, seeing them from the algorithm. So for example, you're doing an 8-hour stream, and 6 hours of that you're just playing GTA. You're just not even talking. You're just gaming, right? And say for 30 minutes of that stream, you have a bit where everything's planned and your personality is going to shoot through the roof. He says there's going to be a button, or maybe not a button, maybe like some sort of way of notifying Twitch that this time is happening. This is crunch time. And that is when they're going to promote you. And I think that's pretty cool, because the biggest problem with Twitch is discoverability. And if you have a clips tab and you have the ability to show the best version of yourself when you're being promoted, I think that's great. I know I'm giving him a lot of crap for not answering questions that people want to know the answers to, but I think he is doing a great job as the CEO of Twitch. I think just being a CEO in general, it's your job is to deflect questions. And speaking of deflecting questions, perhaps the most disappointing question that was deflected was, why was Doc banned?
So, there was an alien invasion. Okay. Many people did not know about the alien invasion. Okay. Oh. And the aliens actually possessed Dr. Disrespect.
Oh.
Okay. And it actually took over the globe using Twitch.
With the Shungite.
Yes. Okay. And so...
and what they were referring to, obviously, in which we got no answer, was Disrespect being banned for no reason in 2020. It seems like no reason. Certainly there was a reason, but it was never disclosed. The actual reason given was this. As is our process, we take appropriate action when we have evidence that a streamer has acted in violation of our community guidelines or terms of service. These apply to all streamers regardless of status or prominence in the community. But him violating the community guidelines, okay, that's an acceptable reason to ban somebody, but they didn't say why. And Dr. Disrespect said it right here. He said, Twitch has not notified me on the specific reason behind their decision. Firm handshakes to all for the support during this difficult time. And I know this was a long time ago, but it's just wild that a company can just permanently ban a guy for no reason. And maybe there is a reason. Maybe the doc and Twitch know that it's better off that the public does not know why he got banned, because maybe it's something that can be defaming to both Doc and Twitch, or maybe one of them. Maybe it's out of good faith that they're not disclosing this. But if that's not the reason and they banned him and they didn't tell him why, then to this day I'm dumbfounded. And hopefully one day we get an answer. If Twitch is about to go under, their company's in flames, hopefully there's a whistleblower and they come out and they say what happened, because this is still one of the biggest mysteries in all of social media to me. And I thought we were going to get an answer, but we didn't, of course. Anyways, I just thought that was an interesting set of questions that Mizkif presented. I was a little disappointed on the responses, but all in all, the man's a great CEO, and I truly hope he rolls out a lot of these features that he's speaking of. One of the big things that he mentions that is, in order for Twitch to be profitable, one of their goals is to increase Twitch streamers, because Twitch streamers means more Twitch viewers. Say you have 10 million streamers. Those people are going to be watching streams as well, because a lot of Twitch streamers, after they sign off, they do a little research. They're in the community, so they become viewers as well. So if you increase that user base from 10 million to 20 million, you just gain 10 million users, and you have more people creating content. If you have 10 million more people creating content, you might get another iShowSpeed. You might get another Kai Cenat. And the more superstars there are like that, the more eyeballs are going to be on your platform. So I do believe this guy has a lot of great ideas, and I think he's a good CEO. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.